What up, chuds? Clopson here, and tonight I got a brand new video for us. Today we're going to talk about the gubernatorial elections this cycle. And this is a very fascinating topic, actually, very much overlooked. As always, for those who are new, I'd like to explain my margins. They are solid, safe, likely, lean, and tilt. So, what this means, solid and safe are both categories that I would describe as still being a foregone conclusion. The only difference is that a solid state is a much larger margin than a safe state. Likely, lean, and tilt are all self explanatory. A likely state is one that I'm confident it's going in a certain direction, but I can still be wrong. A lean state is one that um, I think will probably end up going in a certain direction, and a tilt state is a state that I think that I'm not very sure about what direction it's going to go in, but I'm sort of just if I were to have a gun held pointed at my head, that would be how I would predict that state. With that out of the way, let's go start off with some of the less interesting states. And the first one is North Dakota. Now, I got this one as solid Republican. I could see it being bumped down to safe if the Dems nominate like a real farmer type Democrat. But for right now, yeah, I have the state as solid R. I don't think it needs any explanation. North Dakota is a very Republican state, after all. Up next is Utah. Unfortunately, Spencer Cox won that primary, and it is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, Republicans are going to hold on to the Utah governorship. I doubt Dems are even going to field a candidate at this rate because of how liberal Cox is. But yeah. Following Utah is Vermont. This is another solid Republican state. I believe Phil Scott is running again, so yeah, he's going to run away with it. Dems are, if they're even going to contest it, they're going to get absolutely blown out in Vermont. Um, Up next is Montana. I'm making this a safe, not solid, just because one, Greg Gianforte is a little bit on the more controversial side, and two, Montana is not as red a state as North Dakota. So I'm categorizing it as safe but not solid. I think he's going to win by like 15 or so at least, though. After that is Delaware, and I'm also going to make this a safe but not solid state. Republicans do still have a shot. The state's a very pro business state, and I could see a moderate Republican like a Jeff Van Drew type coming out and picking off that governorship. Maybe not this time around because we haven't really been able to draft a good candidate, but still, yeah, Delaware is it is safe but not solid Democrat because I expect the state to trend to the right over this election as a whole. Following Delaware um, is Indiana. Indiana is another safe state again. We have Mike Braun running. He's a decent candidate, but he does have some issues. Like he was he was previously a Democrat, and he hasn't exactly been the most consistent on his views throughout his entire career. That said, he's looking like a strong favorite, but Indiana again, it's not as red as like North Dakota, so I'm leaving it as safe but not solid Republican. Same goes with Missouri. I wish that we had Eric Greitens running again. I feel like he would be an excellent governor. He got unfairly screwed over. That's sad and all that. But yeah, this is a safe Republican state. If Kuntz decided to run for governor instead of Senate, I feel like this would be a lot more competitive. But because Kuntz decided to just grift and get all that resist lib money, Yeah, the Democrats don't have a decent governor candidate here. Up next are the four most competitive races. They are Washington. Oh, wait, sorry. No, wait, what am I saying? Yeah, West Virginia is a solid Republican state. And again, yeah, we're not really going to be losing much here. It's West Virginia. This is the most Trumpy MAGA state in the country. Yeah, this is easily going to the Republicans, unless the Dems nominate Jim Justice from 2016 somehow. After West Virginia is Washington. This is a very interesting race. I have it as likely Dem right now. Reichert, who was the sheriff for King County right here, is running a strong campaign. He's a moderate, principled Republican, but he's one of those moderate Republicans who doesn't just actively piss off the average Republican voter. And this is something that moderates, if they still want to be accepted within the GOP, need to understand is that no one's no one's against you for being a moderate, but Republican voters really don't like someone who is just going to stand against what they believe in. Reichert is still conservative. He's still on our side and he still holds a lot of our same values, but he's much more optical and he is um how do I say that? He takes a much more measured approach, which is refreshing seeing from a Republican who is a genuine moderate, but also is not a rhino. So Reichert, he just doesn't have that much cash, and I believe he's running against the attorney general. Plus, this seat has the governorship has remained in Democrat hands for a long, long time. I doubt that Reichert's going to pick it up, but this could be the closest gubernatorial race since 2008, maybe even since 2004. Which, in case if you guys didn't know about that, Dino Rossi literally got cheated because um, there was a mysteriously appeared a box of ballots for the Democrat candidate in the mail, and yeah, that was certainly suspect to say the least. But yeah, so we got Reichert. Reichert's looking like he could carry even a couple down ballot Republicans, but I don't think he'd win this race. He'll be kind of like a Lee Zeldin of Washington, though. Now for the big two: North Carolina and New Hampshire. We'll start with New Hampshire. I have this one as leaning Republican. Kelly Ayotte, she ran a lazy campaign and only barely lost to, I believe it was Shaheen. I think, yeah, it was Shaheen in New Hampshire in 2016. Ayotte is looking to be in a much stronger position, and the Democrats don't have nearly as strong a candidate as Ayotte. Ayotte is also not outwardly opposing Donald Trump, which is a very smart move. The people of New Hampshire already know Ayotte, and they seem to like her at least a little bit if they came so close to reelecting her. As a result, with Ayotte's name recognition, energized Republican turnout just nationwide, and the popular Republican governor expected to campaign with her, I'm going to leave New Hampshire as leaning Republican. And finally, we have North Carolina. This is easily the biggest governorship up. We've got Mark Robinson, a real firebrand conservative. He's going to run it up with rural black voters in this part of the state, and he's going to try to match Trump's margins in the suburbs. As a result, I also have this state as a leaning Republican. I think Trump's going to win the state by like 5 or 6, and then he'll be able to carry Robinson to win the state by like 2. Still, it is not completely impossible for Stein to win, especially since he's a decently popular attorney general, and he can tie himself to the state's very popular governor Roy Cooper, who is a Democrat. This is my current prediction. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments below if you disagree with some of my predictions. Think I'm too favorable to Democrats, too favorable to Republicans. think maybe I should go into more, or there's some details I missed, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. And I am so grateful that like multiple videos of mine have now hit over 600 views. I honestly never even thought that would happen in the first place. And I want to thank you guys so much. Peace out.